All right, there's my audio.
Pardon, bro.
And there's desktop audio. Test, test. Mic test. Can you hear? Mic test. Yeah. All
Hold
right,
on, yeah.
test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. I repeat, test 1, 2. Are we on? CJ, say something.
I don't hear you.
No, CJ, now you say something.
Okay, I think we are good. He
All right.
sounds like we're saying.
Comic books, video games, television, and movies. In a world where the media has been dominated by superheroes and sci-fi, these barely Irish assholes must band together to make sense of it all. It's not news. It's utterly nonsense.
We are live?
And we are now live. We should be audible.
We're live.
Everybody,
We're live?
live from different locations.
Currently mortal.
Live from separate locations in the United States. This is the Utterly
Like
Nonsense
Pennsylvania, New
Podcast.
Jersey.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much all. Yeah.
Shit, Dr. Location.
This is Utterly Nonsense Podcast.
Careful, Jack. That could get you banned from Twitter nowadays.
Episode
I mean, that's
99.
Andrew Tate. Hashtag Pizza Tate. Am I right? All right, moving on.
And for
Okay.
anyone listening to this after the fact, if everything sounds a bit jumbled, that's because we are live streaming right now. So if you missed the live streaming, well, first of all, follow all our accounts, then you would know that we were. And second, shame on you. But third, I totally get it if you couldn't make it. But anyway, I say that because if everything sounds jumbled, that's why. There's no editing in this. Everything is being done on the spot, and it's just going to stay that way. Take me as I am.
We're live.
So,
I didn't feel like editing this one.
yeah. Well, I mean, I did a bunch of stuff like beforehand to get ready for it. So,
You want to
there's that.
talk.
Not
So
that
we
one undercut.
have got a lot to cover, and I guess,
Just in the past, 3 weeks. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
and I mean, do our best to not drag on, but this is going to be a huge one. I cannot lie.
Wait. Did you just say dragon? I'm kidding.
Dragons. No, we're not talking about Lord of the Rings or whatever the other new Game
I
of
was talking
Thrones
about
thing
my
is.
nickname in college.
Yeah. Oh. You know, there's like a new Lord of the Rings series, there's a new Witcher series, there's a new Game of
yep.
Thrones series, all at the same time. How does anybody keep up with all this?
You like dragons like me, and you just watched it immediately because it had Matt Smith and dragons. So I was like, yes, please. So overall, that was awesome as shit. And if you didn't like it, you're out of your mind. You just read the actual series. You'll figure out how close they actually are.
To be clear, you are talking about the Game of Thrones series.
I meant House of Dragons, not Game of Thrones.
Well, that is...
Well, it is, yeah. That's what he was getting at. It's the Game of Thrones sequel series, yeah.
No one cares about
Prequel.
season 8. Moving
Prequel
on. I've made my rants about that.
Yes, moving on. So, the first thing, I think, don't have a lot to say, but I did want to talk about it a little bit. Hey guys, it's me. You know, it's Mario. That's the voice. Don't worry, that's not the voice, but you know, that's the
It's
voice.
pretty close.
It is
It's pretty close. Hey, it's Chris Pratt Mario here. I'm normal now.
Hey guys, it's me, loser. So,
I hate you.
I mean, this is the main reason we had Paris on for this one. What did you guys think of the first trailer?
I still didn't see it.
Paris, you first.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, Paris first.
Which trailer? Like the first one, or like all encompassing, like all of them?
Well, the teaser and then the second trailer, like whatever. Anything from what's been shown between the trailers and the clips. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so from the beginning, when we saw that like initial reveal for the voice acting, we all had none of us were into the idea of Chris Pratt as Mario because we wanted Charles Martinet, we wanted a recognizable Mario sound, and that was voiced throughout the internet, and we were very worried that Chris Pratt couldn't do it, and there was a lot of talk of, oh, this is just was it selling us with the celebrities and all that, and it was trying to have the stars, and Chris Pratt can't do voice acting and all this, and it was a back and forth, and then when it finally came, we heard that voice, and he just kind of didn't sound that different at their promises of maybe, I guess, trying to sound a little different. To his credit, I can definitely hear him trying something. But I think
Keywords trying.
I mean, there is a slight like New York accent to it, or a slight like Italian American thing that he's trying, but it's not very distinguishable from his standard speaking voice.
It's not, yeah, and that was the problem. But like, in my opinion, I've heard a lot of people say that like, oh, the Mario voice would be graining. Oh, you would hate it if you heard Mario speaking the way he was the whole time. But I remember thinking, well, Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, is in fact a voice actor. And one of the other things someone pointed out to me that I didn't know about is he was doing a voice of like a character in the most recent like Dragon Ball movie. And he, so it was like just evidence that he can in fact do. No,
Who
it
knows?
was the one with Goten. It was the one where Goten. It's the one when they revealed the newer, older version of Goten. That's all I got for you.
Goten or Gohan?
Goten.
Oh, okay.
Gohan,
I was going to say, all right, then I had no
Gohan
idea about this because the last one I saw was that the one with Dragon Ball Z superhero when Gohan finally was also actually awesome again. So
the thing is, Martinet is a well-established voice actor. I don't think that anyone's doubting that he could do a decent job. But the studio clearly got Chris Pratt in because they want this A-list name behind it, because they think, oh, hey, A-list actors bring the crowds.
Stunt
just like this with Scoob, because that was so successful.
Wait. Here's my.
I think.
Yes, go ahead.
I think that from the way the casting was, I wonder if Miyamoto himself had like a say in what the cast was. And it feels like a common, because like if you ask me like who would you want Bowser to be in like the Mario movie, Jack Black is what I would have said as like a joke. I'm wondering if like Miyamoto and like his excitement and love of actors, that he picked like this cast as like the little fun thing. There's a part of me wonders it's like a combination of both. That's all. That's all I want to say.
If he was still alive, I would have wanted Bryce Armstrong.
So
that would have been incredible.
So since we're addressing it, to get the negative out of the way, the stunt casting, right? Now, typically, what do you need that for? Maybe something where it's lesser known, or you're not as sure that it'll bring people in because it's, like a story that hasn't been done before. It's a new IP. But this is freaking Mario. There's probably not a single person in the world who doesn't know Mario. He's that famous. That's a line from Brawl, if the snake on the intercom. Yeah, but so it's like you don't need that. People are going to come out to see this, so you should just get, like lesser known people, or just people who actually sound like, most like the characters. And yeah, Charles could do it. He could tone it down. I'm sure he could make it very listenable. After all, he does do Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. By the way, my prediction is he'll be the voice of Wario at like the end. But
Wario,
So I thought, okay, in the first teaser, he just says, Mushroom Kingdom, here we... And then I'm like, he's going to say, go, come. It's here we go, or it's let's go, or let's go. See how easy it is? It comes so naturally. Say it with me. Here we go, it's me, Mario, not just, hey guys.
It's me.
Here we come. Mario.
It's me.
Mushroom Kingdom.
Mario.
So
I think that no matter how he sounds, I think that people wouldn't have liked it, because I think the problem was like from the beginning, Mario was such a recognizable character that it was like, see how like everyone's talking about Mario, but no one cared about how like Peach sound. I remember John, you said that you were upset about Peach. You were upset about how Peach sound. But you're the only person I heard say that.
Really?
And I don't really think Peach is like, she is a recognizable voice. That's true, but less than Mario is less iconic, I think. So it's like it wasn't like that big of a deal. Like I don't know. Peach has sounded different throughout the years. She's apparently only had like two or three voice actresses. Like so I didn't realize that, but she always kind of sounds different, I guess.
I only know her as like
I
only know her as like the soft, very kind of high-pitched voice, like Mario, Mama, I'm not your Mama.
Listen to how she sounds in Mario 64 again, whenever you can, and then like I don't know, hear from game to game, even though it's like the same voice actress, she does do like different like sounding afflictions or whatever.
Yeah.
but so I like sometimes I assume for her voice in Sunshine was different from her voice in Galaxy because of that.
Yeah.
Of course, that could also just be like the patches of time. But like even then, it's because I think because it's Mario, more recognizable. It was easier for us to be like, he doesn't sound like Mario. And while I would have preferred if he sounded like Mario myself. Yeah. I guess I never put too much weight into what he sound like, but there is like obviously there's bias.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll get to Peach. Let me go back to Mario. So before that voice, like before the 64 era, there were Mario cartoons. There was like 2 or 3 of them. You had the Super Show, you had the Mario 3 show, and maybe something else. And then you also had the let me see if I have it here. Hold on. You had from good old 90s, the Mario Brothers movie.
Jesus
with Bob Hoskins as the Goomba Mario from Brooklyn. And hey,
wait,
John Leguizamo, it's Luigi Mario. So
I was gonna say John Leguizamo was in that movie. God damn it!
Yeah, there he is.
Did you see the whole reaction John Leguizamo had to this thing being made?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's so many fans of the original movie. This is gonna piss some people off.
I just saw him saying.
Does he hate it?
No, I just saw him saying something about it being a shame that I don't know that they cast a white actor as Luigi or something like that.
Yeah,
it was something racial. I was like, okay, but
bitch, you're not Italian.
Oh no, God, they hired a white guy as to be an Irish person. Oh no,
no. Well, Mario is supposed to be Italian, but the thing is, Bob Hoskins is British.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so
that means he's got range.
He was.
He looks enough part.
If anything, positive I could say about this film, Bob Hoskins is a good Mario. And the thing about the voice is, before the "Hello Mario" voice, Charles Martinet, he had more of that kind of raspy Brooklyn accent, like, "Hey, it's me, Mario. I'm your plumber. I'm from Brooklyn." So if they went with something like that, I also would have been fine because I'm like, "Hey,
Jesus.
That's classic Mario." Maria from the block over there, Bensonhurst.
It seems like they are going to be from Brooklyn because I couldn't find anything else, but I saw on Twitter it was like a picture going around of in the background one of the streetlights said like Brooklyn or something.
Yeah.
So maybe they come from Brooklyn.
I sort of got that sense too that they were going for like an Italian American Mario and Luigi, or at least trying to go for the Brooklyn inspired version. And I think that works. So. It's like whether
we don't know what kind of we don't get the character yet either.
Right, and the thing about Mario is he could either be Italian or Italian American based on like what game you're playing, what interpretation you're seeing. So if they are going for that, fine. But at the same time, it's like
even though he was developed by Japanese people. All I'm saying.
I thought he was born in like the Yoshi world or something.
Yoshi.
Good one.
I don't know, but I guess
Mario Odyssey
I think Mario Odyssey establishes that maybe the first game happened in New Donk City. That's like I haven't heard anyone confirm that or anything, but that's where Pauline is. She's the mayor of New Donk City.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the other voice is Luigi. I don't know.
I mean, Charlie Day can do no wrong. I'm very excited to see him.
Charlie
Day. Charlie Day as Luigi. That actually would be awesome.
Casting him as Luigi it just works. I think since I think it goes with the character.
The thing is, I'm not like the kind of like Twitter user online who's constantly trying to shit on Chris Pratt or has some inherent problem with him. I genuinely love Chris Pratt.
That means
I think he's a great
actor. But Jesus,
it's like. Yeah, he was the only really bad casting choice from everyone I've seen in this thing. Like, I can buy Jack Black as Bowser. I can buy Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. I can buy Charlie Day as Luigi. They all work to some extent. Like, they all work as, like, A-list talents that they're trying to get to play these iconic roles. Chris Pratt's doing absolutely nothing to become Mario for this. So that's I think the one big problem I have, one big problem a lot of people have. What else can we really say about the content of this thing? Because I will say visually, the trailer looks really promising. Like, it actually looks exactly like you would want an animated Mario movie.
Yes, and I said this years ago. I was saying, all right, after the first one, obviously Nintendo is kind of traumatized from making movies, and if they ever made one again, is why we never saw a Zelda movie, they would want more control. But by the way, the thing you were saying about Miyamoto doing the casting, I think you might be onto something, because I feel like this is almost, you know how like Kojima loves movies and he's always putting like movie actors in his games? I feel like since Nintendo is more involved with this one, this is what they feel like a real movie looks like. They have a real cast, so they have to get all these big names, and maybe they just think, well, that's how movies work, right? That's how Hollywood works. So, you know, that's just me guessing. But so I was saying, if they're ever going to make a live action Nintendo thing, especially Mario, because of how nonsensical the world is, you just make it 3D animated. I thought they should have done it.
That makes sense in that world?
No. I thought they should have done it for Sonic as well, but they went live action, and you know what? It was okay.
Absolutely not.
I liked Sonic 2. It was good. You know why? Jim Carrey. He's really stilts the show. And Knuckles.
I think with Sonic, there's always like real people in the game, so maybe it wasn't like that genre.
They have that precedent. You know, they've had a lot of city settings.
And of course, shocker, the guy that has barely watched a lot of movies still hasn't seen any of those Sonic movies. So.
All right. Well, Jack's first time.
First one is very good.
We'll get there someday, guys. We'll break that cherry, I promise.
Oh my God.
We'll talk about when the third movie comes out.
Yeah, so...
Probably.
I got a question. How did y'all feel about Illumination being the studio? Because people were also... This is, I guess, before we saw the animation. We're worried about it being Illumination. Because,
yeah,
you know, they're the ones who did... The
Minions and Despicable Me, yeah, and you know,
I
didn't see.
I was like, what
Grinch,
the hell is he talking about?
But they also did Secret Life of Pets. There's a decent amount under their actual belt at this point. I will say I do like their animation style. I think it's very polished. I think it's
fun.
You know, if you like those movies, and obviously they sort of went off the rails with like going over the top with Minions, but they're well-made movies. Like they're not the kind of movies that talk down to kids. They're actually like good quality kids movies. I mean, yeah, if you really watch enough Minions shit, you're gonna get annoyed by it. But
I get annoyed just seeing the commercials. So, like, originally I thought, oh no, is this gonna have like terrible jokes in it and terrible characters? And it remains to be seen. Like, I'm not really put off.
If I saw,
I'm not really put off by what's in the show. All right, let me finish real quick. And just as far as Illumination goes, I'm not put off outwardly by like the content of the trailer, by the jokes or anything. It's like, you know, some of them are okay, whatever. But yeah, like with the toads, they're like, oh, but we're cute, or like with the penguins, but we're all cute. It's like, okay. But no, I think the animation looks absolutely fantastic. And going back to what I was saying before, it being 3D animation lets them translate one-to-one all the assets from the games over, because there's been so much to work with, all the assets from the games over to the movie, and it looks like they did just that. Like, how many references to Mario 3D World alone are there in there? Freaking Mario Kart's in there. Smash Brothers is in there. Every single, like, Mario anything is referenced at some point from just what we've seen so far, and I think that's great. Like, I have high hopes for it, despite the casting, and I think the whole story with like it's not Peach getting kidnapped, and I guess that's why her voice is different. It sounds more strong because she's strong, independent. She's gonna fight. She doesn't need rescuing this time. I got a little bit of a
Princess Bubblegum vibe off her. I'm not gonna lie.
Princess Bubblegum. Oh my god, I almost forgot about that show.
Yeah, so no, I mean, we got a very slight glimpse at this whole thing. Like, we've only really seen one trailer and one teaser.
It seems like it'll be comedy. Like, they'll focus on it, which is
that's fine. Like, they're making it for kids. I'm not going to complain about it too much. But you know, at this point, there's not too much.
You're not the niche audience target.
Well, I mean,
oh, shut up.
Yeah, and I like the direction they seem to be going with the story, where it's King Koopa. That's what he used to be called back in the old days. King Koopa's invading all the lands, and so there's like going to be
an animal abuser.
No, those Pokemon trainers.
I'm just saying.
Hey, listen.
Oh God.
The turtle started it.
So can't do a knife. Are you going to just take it? Or are you going to?
Yeah, so,
I mean, you think about it, the whole him taking over all the kingdoms does sort of make sense to the game's lore. Like, you play basically any of the Mario games, you know, any of the main entries, any of the original 3 Super Mario Bros., new Super Mario Bros., they all sort of have the same central premise of him going
of a bowling alley.
And so they had the same central premise of Mario going from kingdom to kingdom, you know, defeating the boss at each castle, freeing the kingdoms.
Exactly.
How do you think those kingdoms got taken over in the first place?
Yeah,
Conquest,
so we'll finally see it. And you know what we haven't seen yet in the trailers?
Realism.
Bowser's kids, or wait, are they still his kids? I don't know if that's canon anymore, but either way...
Never his kid,
there's at least adopted children, there is love children from previous marriages.
They were never his kids. That was like a mistranslation. They're just like employees. Bowser Jr. is his only child.
Okay.
That is true.
Wait, are they nieces and nephews, maybe?
No, they just work for him.
Don't be racist, Jack.
They're just the Koopa kids.
That's not racist. They're all
You're
turtles.
assuming all turtles are related. That's
not
pretty
all
racist,
Koopas.
That's more specious than anything.
That is specious. Okay. So we've got a lot more to go over here.
I remember watching Doctor Who. If you say cacti, you're racist too. So, right.
Let's see. John, did you want to play that first graphic, or did you want to go into some of these miscellaneous notes first?
Oh, well, I mean, did anybody want to talk about... Oh, wait, Paris, while you're still here. Really briefly, I just want to mention they announced a new Crash Bandicoot game. Oh my god. But it's some multiplayer...
What did you think?
Battle... Okay, so I don't really know what to think, because it looks like some team-based multiplayer thing, and it's calling Crash Team Rumble, so they could keep the CTR. I would prefer you just put Crash Team Racing on PC, but that's just me. But this one's coming out, I don't know, on console only. If they ever port it, I'll try it. Other than that, I'm just glad they're still making something with him. That's about it.
Hey, what if I got a question? What if it turns out to be an MMO?
No. It definitely won't.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know if it's like a battle royale or something, but it looks like objective-based team battling, so it looked kind of interesting, a little fun.
Like a modern Crash Bash?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, except instead of Mario Party, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to say a MOBA, but they did kind of have the field layout with them going down lanes and everything. So who knows?
Maybe just to let us know that Crash is still alive, and they're like, he's not dead. We haven't lost him amongst this whole Activision thing that we're not going to talk about. We'll just look at Crash Bandicoot.
Right.
He's still here. We pulled him out of the Call of Duty mines. It's fine.
Yeah. If anything, it kind of looked like the openness of Twin Sanity, but made as a multiplayer game. That's kind of what it looked like to me.
It looked weird. It did look weird seeing Crash running like a 3D environment, I guess, that way.
Yeah, you mean instead of a hallway?
Or, with the camera like open environment, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, there was also Tag Team Racing, which had the exploration.
Team Racing.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe it's just the modern style with the modern camera.
Yeah. All right.
So,
moving on from that.
See. State of the DC Universe address.
Did you have anything to say about Marvel stuff?
Yeah, so I guess we didn't really go over Wakanda Forever and the Guardians.
Any
of the Guardians stuff.
I didn't see that movie. Whoops.
I just watched the...
I wish we had Mike on here because there's only so much I can say. And I know Mike's watching now because he's actively posting in the YouTube comments. But,
oh, there we go.
So I wish he were here just to actually cover me on this.
In spirit. He's here in spirit.
Initial thoughts.
At least he has a soul.
Oh, there's Mike.
Oh! He lives?
He heard my prayers. So
we spoke his name and he came.
So I did talk privately with you guys about Black Panther 2 / Wakanda Forever briefly. Basically, I do think it's better than the first one. It's hard to cover that actual chasm that Chadwick Boseman left by, obviously passing suddenly. The movie has moments throughout that just make you bawl because, they clearly reference the fact that, Chadwick's Black Panther has died in this universe. That it's obviously a very emotional, very sudden thing. All of the characters are feeling it. It's just an overtone throughout this whole movie. It's like Shuri's whole arc is basically dependent on this whole, losing her brother and having to fill that role.
Oh, by the way, spoilers, people. If you still didn't
I've
see it, like my
purposely
lazy
avoided
ass.
spoilers to this point, but yeah. Yeah. So all I can really say without getting into spoilers is I think it was better than the first one. I think they did as much as they possibly can do to save this franchise, considering that the original star of this franchise is gone. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is there's not really a lot of like it can be watched in a vacuum, right? Like nothing about it really made me think. Nothing really about this movie needed to impact the greater MCU. A lot of it was very dependent just on the Black Panther universe or the separate Black Panther Wakanda continuity. So, if you're looking to sort of watch a Marvel film in a vacuum, Black Panther, Black Panther 2, yeah, there's some references to the greater MCU, but they're mostly self-contained.
I didn't even plan on it. I just started crying hysterically at it.
Yeah, Black Panther, Wakanda forever.
Mike's clearly got a lot going on in the background, but I think he agrees with everything I just said.
Yeah, I kind of do. I'll be back eventually, guys.
Okay, we'll be here. So, as far as Guardians go,
all right. I will have to say, yeah, Wakanda Forever is always, and when I see it, I look forward to seeing it. So,
yeah, no, it is worth seeing. I do think it's actually again from a filmmaking perspective,
as hell, people.
And the CGI is actually pretty polished, which you can't say about the first one. So, yeah,
I liked it though.
Yeah. Okay. So, as far as the Guardian stuff goes.
As Jack always
Guardians
says.
3 trailer, I haven't seen it since they actually put it on YouTube, so I can't really comment too heavily because, there's probably should have just forgotten since seeing it.
Adam Warlock, they're saying it's their last night out or whatever.
Yep, basically.
Silly jokes with Drax.
Yep.
Last night out.
Vin Diesel back as Groot.
Yep.
Wait, wasn't there like something about...
This is human trafficking!
Wasn't it something about Drax's voice actor not wanting to come back or whatever?
You mean
voice actor?
Because
that was back.
Drax.
Played in live action.
That was back when James Gunn
Dave
was.
Bautista.
Oh, back when James Gunn was like fired from Marvel and then eventually came back. Yeah, so that's already going like years in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, all the Guardians actors were pretty much in favor of him coming back as director, so it was sort of a done deal. Like the whole firing of James Gunn from Marvel was a very short window, which led to him getting the Suicide Squad for DC, and led to him becoming the president, which we'll be talking about in greater detail momentarily.
There's a lot of fire there.
Yeah, Guardians 3 looks good though. I'm
excited. Very excited.
As far as the Christmas special goes, yeah, it's a fun Christmas thing. Like I don't know what else to say. It's like
about it.
Here's what I want to know. Yeah. Does it lead into 3 at all? Is there anything that sets anything up?
I don't think so. It's kind of it made like you do. It is set like largely on nowhere. KNOW where.
Okay.
World stuck in the one Celestial's head. So I guess you could say that has some impact because we didn't know exactly where the Guardians were going post GOTG2 / Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, yeah, there's not too much world building here. There's not too much that really gives you much inklings as to what we're going to be doing with Guardians 3.
In the beginning, there is some reference to Peter going like, "Oh, he's still searching for Gamora." That as well.
Well, it's more like, oh, he's sad about her not being with them anymore. He's sad about
that too, because no one knows where she is still, and
that's like what gets the sort of subplot going of Drax and Mantis going on their way to
two most anti-social characters.
Yeah.
And the ones that literally cannot understand a single concept of anything that's not within their culture's language, pretty much.
I will say it's a very fun movie, or very fun 30-minute.
Oh, it is, but it's just why those two?
Well, I mean, they have a good chemistry, and it makes sense.
It's weird, but yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? And first of all, I'll just say I didn't watch the special, but I remember this tweet that James Gunn sent not that long ago, but he said that his interpretation of Guardians was very much inspired by the series, the hell it's called, Farscape. And in that series, there's this guy from Earth, he's an astronaut, he goes into space to try a new, like, high-speed travel thing, and he ends up going through a wormhole halfway to the other side of the universe or whatever, and he meets all of these, like, different kinds of aliens who are also, like, escapees from prison, and then, you know, they have to fight an evil entire military and everything, and...
Overlord in charge.
So, sort of spoiler, eventually there's an episode where they're back on Earth, and you're just watching all these aliens try to fit in with, like, normal suburban life. It's pretty funny.
We've learned from DC and Marvel that goes smoothly every time.
Oh, yes. It goes very...
Without a hitch, perfectly normal, no xenophobia whatsoever.
Yeah. That was the main thing why he, like... There's this whole thing where he, like, has this technology, obviously, that people on the governments on Earth want him to give over, but he's like, you're not ready for it. Look what happens if you get just a little bit of it. You take it, you run with it.
One episode of the Orville season 3 where they're trying to explain to this one girl who's from this
didn't watch that show.
Underdeveloped world why they can't possibly give this world this advanced technology because they'll essentially just use it to destroy each other.
That's what the aliens say about us, though.
No, it's true. It takes like a society evolving to some point where
they crashed in Mexico for about 2 weeks, and they said, no, not these guys. They don't need more of this stuff. They just blow each other up.
I was just watching Ancient Aliens. This is why they locked down Area 51. You ain't storming nothing, boy.
I'm wishing that more than anything, because the date that they were saying that for that whatever year it was, that was the day of my birthday, and I really wanted that to happen more than anything.
Well, people to get like gunned down by the government,
right?
Yeah.
Even Dwayne The Rock Johnson was about that. He was like, "Let's go! They can't take all of us." I was like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
Speaking of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in DC,
that one guy
Aliens
ran in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a couple CW properties here to talk about.
Let us begin and this is the main part of this podcast. Now is where it really starts.
Yes, we're getting serious now.
The State of the DC Universe Address.
DC Comics Incorporated.
Question, is this going to be about like the? Are you going to mention the recent announcement to like make more cutbacks or not?
Fuck it.
Well, first we're going to talk about like a couple of the TV shows, and then all the stuff about the movies. But this does follow,
and the future of those movies,
all of those cutbacks. So speaking of cutbacks, CW was acquired by Nexstar Media, I think. So there's a few leftovers. We still got roaming around the channel. We have, first of all, The Flash has to finish up with its 9th season. We've only had one very short teaser so far. It's going to premiere February 8th. 13 episodes total. And I don't know if it's going to be like the season villain or not, but it will have the Dark Knight's Metal, or a version of it, Red Death Flash. Except it's going to be, instead of Batman as an evil Flash bat, it's going to be the Batwoman from seasons 2 and 3 of Batwoman as evil Flash woman metal death.
I was going to say, I actually genuinely really love the Dark Knight's Metal storyline. I love Red Death. But it's like, if they carried it out well, it would probably be pretty cool. But it's the CW. They're not going to carry anything out well.
Yeah.
Why? Just
they got one show right. And they canceled it.
Its misery already. It should have ended like 3 seasons ago, honestly.
It could have been cool if they
had...
so
bad it just killed Paris.
Yeah. No, I don't blame him. You know, he was actually there when we talked about who Savitar was in like our very first recording of anything.
Oh my god, I remember this.
It's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Maybe it was Shadow the Hedgehog in the dark multiverse. So yeah, like if they had introduced the Dark Multiverse earlier on, maybe they could have taken it somewhere, but as with Flashpoint, as with the Crisis thing, it's just going to be a one and done thing. They're finishing up the season. They're not ready for a big new concept. Maybe it'll lead into the DC films since James Gunn apparently wants to connect everything. Maybe there'll be a maybe the CW itself is the Dark Multiverse. I don't know. And honestly, I don't really care because finally the Flash is ending. Finally next year we can do... Maybe we'll save that for episode 100. You just wait 6 months for it. What the happened to the Flash?
Coming soon, guys. I promise we'll make it eventually.
Which one? In the TV series, everybody keeps saying we are the Flash. There's about 9 of them.
Ezra Miller says we are the Flash too. Or does he say she are the Flash? Or they are the Flash?
Paris is going, it was actually Silver the Hedgehog.
Ah, that makes a lot more sense.
Nerd! No, but he's right, though.
Yeah, so, it's clear that they're trying to put these CW shows on the back burner. Most of them have been canceled already. I think it's literally just The Flash and Superman and Lois still kicking. So
yeah, DC Legends of Tomorrow's been dead for a while.
Bizarre.
I mean, that's been dead.
They just ended it this past season. They just ended it this past season officially.
Oh,
so yeah. So it was going on until and they ended on a cliffhanger too. So they definitely didn't expect to be canceled, but. Yeah,
of course they did.
So,
DC, God damn it!
Yeah, I literally have nothing else to say about Flash season 9. Just what's the point of this? I haven't been able to watch it in the last 2 seasons.
Season 5.
It's like I was watching when it was bad. It's just become unwatchable in the past 2 seasons.
I really want every single clip of us from the start to the end, just clipped all together, going from our hype to just through our absolute disappointment throughout the years. Because even I just be going oh yeah, I've been watching him forever. And I'll just be like, oh wow, yeah, I still haven't given a shit for 4 years. So it's wow.
Yeah, just sticking with it to stick with it.
So as far as Superman and Lois
says enough.
I know you have a couple notes here. We haven't seen a trailer yet.
Nope, nothing.
Season 3 isn't premiering until March of this year, or March of this upcoming year for some reason. It just
if
I don't know what it's just the television seasons since COVID have been a complete mess. But
if they at least
that too.
If they at least air the season without 50 2-month-long interruptions,
I mean, they don't have COVID as an excuse at this point. So
3 episodes.
Let's see what they do.
4-week-long break.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I know the guy who plays John is still officially being recast. As far as we know, he's not coming back.
Oh, Jonathan Kent. Yeah,
John Kent.
He got recast, yeah.
No, me.
So, who knows who they're actually going to replace him with? As far as I know, they haven't made it. Have they made an official casting choice that I just slept on? Or?
Yeah, he's on it. There's been set pictures of him. The weird thing is he looks more like the guy who plays Jordan Kent. Like if you made a combination between him and the other brother, and I think he's Australian.
Oh yeah, no, I remember us seeing I remember us saying this is what the two of them would look like if you just had an AI search of the love child.
Fusion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
it's a Dragon Ball Z reference for everybody.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they do you think they're actually going to do anything to try to explain away the casting choice, or are they just going to play oh, hey, he's just a different guy now?
When the
Probably
Bizarro,
just a different guy. No one's going to act like anything happened, really.
When the Bizarro Earth unfused, there were ripples of changes throughout, such as John Cryer no longer being Luthor. Or wait, is that because it's not the same Earth?
Stop it.
Michael Rosenbaum, hello? Michael, are you busy? Michael, do you have 80 more podcasts you want to air first?
Yeah, apparently. So, not to get too much in, or not to jump the gun with 2 ends too much, but he and Michael Rosenbaum are actually tight enough that I could see Michael Rosenbaum coming back as Lex Luthor in the DC Extended Universe. So, one positive of gun taking over the presidency.
Michael?
Yeah, so.
Michael!
Who knows? I think it's more possible now than him coming back to the. Crisis, whole massive crossover. So we don't know too much about this new Luthor. I didn't even know prior to reading your notes that they were announcing Lex Luthor as being one of the big bads for season 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the main one, but I read he's set to make some appearance.
Yeah, so it is a little bit weird that they're not going with John Cryer since they're trying to tie in these continuities a little bit.
Well, no,
actually,
they're not. They're separate.
Yeah, I mean it's a separate universe, but they have a lot of the same casting choices outside. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they have Superman and Lois as the same in this universe. As
How many Jason Todds am I going to have to go through? Stop it.
Speaking of which, not to cut you off, but the season 3 premiere of Superman and Lois will lead into the premiere of. Are you ready, guys? Are you excited? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat?
Titans.
Even better, Gotham Knights.
Oh,
Gotham,
right.
Remember that trailer?
I forgot about that. Yeah, the kid was just going like, my father was one of the richest men on the planet. And we're just like, oh my god, he's Bruce's brat. Really?
The only character name I recognize from that list is Carrie Kelly, and she's from Dark Knight Returns. It's like
I don't know what that is.
Unless they're really obscure characters that I just don't know about, they're all like original ones. And like, again, like sort of like the game, a Gotham where Bruce is dead and the young ones have to pick up the slack and just...
Teen Titans?
Just stop. Not the Teen Titans, not the Young Justice, the Gotham Knights. Teen drama.
Well, at least Joker's got a daughter in that one, right?
Think about it this way.
As hell.
Yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Riverdale with Batman. Riverdale with Batman references. There you go.
Basically. I've never seen Riverdale. I just know that has one of the Sprouse twins.
Yeah, well,
not the good one.
And why is he a redhead in that? Get an actual one.
Oh, you mean the guy who plays Archie?
I'll rant about that stuff in 2023. I don't care right now.
Hey, Jack, you could be Archie. What the hell? Snubbed. Passed over. Come on.
What's up? I know what I'm doing, people. I got mine in a theater. What's up?
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the CW side. So now, are we ready for the absolute unbridled mess that is DC Films?
Oh, God, I wish I could drink right now.
And part 1.
Blow it all up!
Yep.
Okay.
Part 1. So, I was getting excited. Black Adam 2 came out, and we had a hint of things to come. Or Black Adam 1, whatever. Black Adam 2 is never fucking coming out. So, we had a hint that there would be a return of hope. There was hope that it would return. And then they said, yeah, you know what, man? Nah, forget it. We lied. Nah. Just yanking your chain. Just jerking your gherkin. That's not happening. In fact, nothing's happening. Hey, The Rock, remember back in the Batman review when I said The Rock makes $1 billion, that's why WB is going to pay him. Oops! Where did the money go? It bombed, sort of. He says it made money, but then, oh no, he's being investigated for fraud, for leaking information that wasn't true. Anyway, The Rock's not coming back. Unless he is in the future. Maybe, perhaps, when he's 55 years old and he'll play Black Adam again and he'll say, finally, The Rock has come back today! See?
He's gonna be on WrestleMania this year before that.
Yeah, he's not coming back. He'll be too old. Henry isn't... The only way I can see Henry coming back...
It's The Rock. He's looked the exact same for years.
If they do this.
Now he's more jacked.
This is what will get me hype for DC movies, for maybe one. If James Gunn says, fine, I'm going to build my own continuity, but we're going to do a Crisis-like thing, and we're going to have the Kingdom Come timeline, and here we have Henry, he's the Kingdom Come Superman. Or you can get Brandon Routh, who played that version in the Crisis crossover. Either way, I'll watch that. That's it.
I love Brendan Routh, whatever the hell his name's pronounced.
Routh? I think it's Rouse.
Whatever. But yeah, he's a great Superman. I like him. They should have used him more.
So in case you don't know what we're talking about, James Gunn and Peter Safran, who produced Shazam, are the new presidents, whatever, of DC Films. I guess that's what they're calling it. They're not calling it Marvel Studios.
Co-head honchos is what I
mean, they're not calling it DC Studios. Marvel...
DCEU.
Kevin Gunn, I mean...
Whatever.
Feige Finn, I mean... There's no people running it, which we expected.
The AI intelligence that is...
Yeah. right? So there's no people running DC, and there was all those things where they're getting rid of this, they're getting rid of that. We're gonna say, are they gonna restore the Snyderverse? There's Zack Snyder showing up in Teen Titans Go.
Oh my god!
Something happening?
About that.
No.
Nah.
It's gone. It's over. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
CJ, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, this came on the back of, like you said, Henry Cavill appearing at the very end of Black Adam in a post-credit scene, essentially leading people to think, oh, hey, Henry Cavill's finally back. Like, that itself was a month after he made the announcement, oh, I'm coming back in the role. We've got some Superman project in the works. I've had some meetings with the DC brass tacks. It's going to happen. You know,
they were just that preceded unfortunate events.
All fans are happy. Everyone likes Henry Cavill as Superman. Mm-hmm. Then Gunn takes over the role of DC president. Gunn and Safran, to be fair, it's the two of them. Though Gunn is much more like publicly vocal about everything.
Yeah.
Basically saying, no, Henry is not coming back. We're essentially blowing up the existing DC universe.
Blow it all up!
So, look, I'm fine with Gunn making his own DC universe. I'm fine with him. And it does sound like he has some vision for the whole thing, right? Like, he wants to make this Young Justice / Titans / I forget what else he cited, but it's like, or Justice League Unlimited /
Oh, right. Yeah, he said that the DCAU structure might be like an inspiration for how they structure the new DC universe, which that would be good if I heard it 10 years ago.
Exactly. Like, in a vacuum, that sounds really good, right? But
I was going to say...
We've had the existing DC universe, albeit messy, with Snyder's vision.
Messy?
With... we had Man of Steel, we had BVS, we had Zack Snyder's Justice League, we had all of this world building, and for people who are fans of Zack Snyder's work, they essentially just destroyed it all in one fell swoop.
By the way, James Gunn wrote Army of the Dead.
Yeah, and it wasn't very good.
All I'm saying is...
Dawn of the Dead, excuse me.
No, yeah, Dawn of the Dead. James Gunn. At first I thought you meant Zack Snyder. I'm like, wait.
Excuse me.
James Gunn wrote Dawn of the Dead, but wait, James Gunn had not...
Snyder directed it, Gunn wrote it.
Right. Wow, I'm getting confused.
Oh, you haters out there that have an aneurysm about it every single time on Twitter.
But then Zack Snyder wrote and directed Army of the Dead.
Correct.
And I didn't think that was that good.
Yeah, I got him switched because I was like, what the hell for a second? Yeah, my brain farted right there.
Yeah, you completely just killed me.
So...
I do that. I steal souls. Look at me.
So the question is, will James Gunn keep the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker intact?
Yes.
Yeah, he will. Yes. Here's why. Because, number one, because he can. And because fuck you.
He's got to have a dick measuring contest in every single scene of every episode.
Yeah. From the man, as Mike said, from the man who brought you Ego is a Celestial, comes the man who was wrong about Ego being a Celestial. Here's a dick joke. Oh God, what else did I have written here?
They have a dance-off in order to figure out who saves the universe.
So it was
no, but I just gotta say though, Gunn being able to bring like a franchise like a small group in the MCU like the Guardians to life to us on such a major platform. When even myself, I had no idea who the hell the Guardians of the Galaxy were, no idea of that aspect of the MCU at all. He brought it to life, and he was able to make it absolutely incredible for everybody. So hey, he looks like he knows what he's doing. With that, at least, so if he can do even a fraction of that for anything DC-wise, I'll be impressed.
You know
I'll be willing to listen, but it's just like, who knows? We'll see, I guess.
The actual decision to bring Gunn in as, the showrunner or the head writer or the president or creative director or whatever title you want to give him, it makes sense on paper. Like, the guy does understand world building. He understands how to make obscure characters fan favorites, right?
Who the hell knew Star-Lord 10 years ago?
No, I fully get why Warner Brothers wanted him in that role. But at the same time, you can't just, slap the face of, the entire fan base and expect people to, embrace him with open arms,
Yeah, there's going to be backlash no matter what. I would really like to have seen him, if it was, not the entire brand, I would have liked to see him do Green Lantern, because out in space, lots of weird characters. Go as crazy as you want.
A living math equation.
Exactly. A living planet.
A planet!
A planet!
A damn squirrel. Come on. How are you not happy?
But no more living clouds, please. Can we have none of those? Jax is just frozen. Oh, and now he's unfrozen.
Nope,
okay,
he's
good.
unfrozen. He's there.
I thought we lost you for a second.
What?
No, you froze
you
for
were
like half a
frozen.
second on our screen.
Oh.
I was fine. You were frozen.
No, Jack was frozen on my screen, too.
I'm on y'all's level
Moving on.
So, I read from somewhere, it was like one of those rumor sites, so who knows if it's actually true. It sounded plausible that the previous president of Warner Brothers Media, I think, Walter Hamada, that he planned for Henry Cavill to return at some point. Let's be honest, we were never going to see that anyway, but that it never came to fruition, supposedly because The Rock said, no, you must save his return for my movie, and you've already committed to making my movie with me, The Rock, and I have to get what I want because I am The Rock. So he got what he wanted. He got Superman to return in his movie for all of 5 seconds before everything got shit canned. Are you happy, Rock? Are you happy? Well, again, like I said, I don't think anything would have come to fruition without The Rock even, because they were saying that they might have led up to a crisis event. Old Warner Brothers Media doing a crisis event? Yeah, we're lucky we got the CW one. Let's leave it at that.
I mean, also you got to realize that Rock all's got to do, he's just got to log into his bank account and he goes like, yeah, I'm pretty damn happy.
Yeah, and all this business with J.J. Abrams, nothing came of it. Even the animated series, like the Batman one, obviously we don't have Kevin Conroy anymore. Rest in peace. So that's probably not happening.
Making me sad.
It's sad all around.
Also, rest in peace to Stan Lee, who would have been 100 years old as of yesterday or the day before. So, yeah, as always, we're going to pay our homage to that.
Yeah. So,
and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Holy shit, that's going to be dope.
I hope so.
Meanwhile, well, we can only hope, but it looks cool from what we saw.
In the wake,
back to our original point.
In the wake of the Snyderverse, finally, unequivocally, unless we do a Crisis in the Future, being done. Oh, we got 4 movies still to come out, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I imagine the executive meeting where James Gunn and Peter Safran presented their plan went something like this. So they're all sitting back in their seats. All they're waiting to hear is, what's going to get the cash flowing. So they're like, oh, yes, James. Very good, James. Of course you can write Superman yourself. Of course you can write every movie yourself. Yeah. We love when the guy says a funny thing and then hits the other guy. So you're gonna get us the money, right? Okay, good. Do it up. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That one video I shared in our in the group that was just like, hey, so with all these actors that are like considered problematic, they're not coming back and all that. So here's how you need to fix our mistakes for us. When I posted that, I was that was so perfect. I was like, dude, oh my god, that's something.
Honestly, it kind of has a point. Well, we'll get to that.
It's a dumpster fire for this man.
But first, part 2. Part 2.
Blue balls.
Now let us please have your attention.
So, let's talk about how hard we've been blue-balled for the last 10, 11, 13, however long years it's been, since Green Lantern came out, because remember, that was supposed to be the start of the DCEU, but then, oh no, people didn't like our lighter-hearted film. That must mean they want more dark, so that means more Nolan. All right, get Zack Snyder, get Nolan to produce. Here you go, Dark Superman, Dark Man of Steel. Reaction? Okay, we don't know. The other movie's already into production. I don't know, maybe cut a half hour out of it randomly? Oh god, that was so divisive. Justice League? Let's lighten it up. Get the Marvel guy. Quick! Course correct, over and over until we're dead. So anyway...
Also, screw over Cyborg.
Let's talk about all the things we're not going to get to see. First of all, Black Adam fighting Superman. Obviously, because The Rock's plan to restructure the hierarchy of these nuts went nowhere.
Jesus Christ.
I read that there was going to be a Superman cameo in The Flash, Henry Cavill. cut that shit right out because you're not going to see him. So why is it in there? Gone.
We saw Ezra Miller for like 5 seconds in CW The Flash, and we were like, oh, and then we're like, oh, with everything else that came out with his name.
Yep. Keaton's role is being
That's
downsized.
being censored, by the way.
Yeah. So Michael Keaton was supposed to apparently have, pretty decent, more than cameo roles in Flash and Aquaman, and he was supposed to be like the new Batman, right? Well, then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No, everything changed when the James Gunn attacked. Or was it? Well, who knows at this point. But so they were going to bring Ben Affleck back to include the Snyderverse connection. But now that they're not doing that.
Catwoman?
I have no idea.
That'd be dope. I'm just saying.
So we're probably going to stick with that, I'm guessing. Ben Affleck, like, reshooting some of the scenes that Keaton was supposed to have. And then, of course, we had Batgirl, which had Keaton, and they just pushed that right into the trash, which means we're not getting Batman Beyond with Keaton, probably, because he's like, you know what, guys, I'm done. I'm sick of doing this. I filmed the scenes, you throw it in the trash. Go fuck yourself.
I don't blame the exact same thing. Yeah.
And we're not even going to get to see Brendan Fraser as the villain.
No.
Which would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
We stand Brendan Fraser here. If you don't like Brendan Fraser, you literally need to go read and just reevaluate your life. I mean that sincerely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we sort of this was like the second time they canceled the Batgirl film anyway. Like, I mentioned I was re-listening to one of our old episodes where we talked about the future of the DC universe right before we did this.
Yep.
And yeah, basically, originally back in like 2017, Joss Whedon was going to direct and write this thing, but then he fell through, and then it was sort of in limbo for a while. And they pushed it back, and then got some other director, and then Warner Brothers.
It was not Uzi, my dogs.
Essentially, as a tax write-off, so whatever, it's out there somewhere.
I want to see it.
I do too, but I don't think it's got the same sort of like fan base behind it that wanted the Snyder Cut to come out. Like I don't see the same sort of campaign happening to release this thing.
Start the petitions.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Engage.
So, yeah, I'm just reading your other notes here.
Yeah, so we're not going to see Henry finally be the Superman that was promised because again, Man of Steel was like a setup. And then jump right into Batman versus Superman. So he didn't even get time to breathe as the character, as either Clark or Superman that much, really. Like, he doesn't even have a lot of speaking lines, so goodbye. We're not going to see Shazam team up with Superman or fight Black Adam or team up all of them. Nope. We're not going to see the comeback of the Justice League. We're not going to see Darkseid come back. Forget about New Gods.
Oh, that's been gone for a while.
The whole Nightmare timeline arc, well, obviously, that was dead on arrival. Element...
that was really... I do think the whole Nightmare timeline was sort of dependent on Snyder, like, essentially being in the role that James Gunn has now.
Yeah.
And, it was pretty apparent just when you see all the drama happening behind the scenes with the Snyder Cut and how, it basically took the entire fan base screaming at WB for 2 years straight to get this thing
Not even. Here's
out.
The thing. I don't think that even really... That's not what did it, because it was HBO Max, and they're like, we need content. What kind of content is really a safe bet? Well, we have this huge campaign for this one thing, so pretty safe bet people are going to watch that and subscribe in the process. So without that, we'd still be clamoring for it.
Yeah, so the point is, like, Snyder clearly has not been on good terms with WB for a while, or at least not on the same terms he was a couple years ago. So, yeah, the whole idea of him making this essentially multi-film arc, or a Justice League Part 2 and Part 3, complete with the Nightmare timeline, was essentially just, if not a fever dream, just a very unlikely possibility. So,
yeah. And, I know since he got like the money for it and he just wanted to do whatever ideas he had left, that he filmed those extra scenes for the Zack Snyder's Justice League, like the extra scenes with Joker and everything, and Martian Manhunter, but I felt like those were really unnecessary. Like, it's just more tacked on at the end. It would have been fine without those, because it's like, what are they setting up? Nothing and nothing, and now even less than nothing. So I don't know. So, but that's not the end of this era of DC, is it? Which brings us to Part 3. So, we still got four movies.
Bring us to, John?
No, that was just while the clip plays. We don't say anything, but so
sorry,
guess
I was out
what?
for a minute. I just saw the return of the Queen of SmackDown in Charlotte Flair. So I'm like, what the hell just happened right now? I'm losing my mind. I'm happy as hell. So
right now, as of recording this, there are get this. Usually we get one or maybe half of a DC movie in a year. In 2023, 4 are scheduled. Allegedly. Oh my. Which ones? So, we were already supposed to have Shazam, we were already supposed to have Flash, we were already supposed to have Aquaman. All delayed. Various reasons, and then more reasons. So right now, Shazam 2 is to come out in March. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is a whole year forward next December. What was the other one? The Flash. June. And Blue Beetle, remember that? Remember Blue Beetle, right? That's supposed to come out in August. No idea if it's going to connect to anything, new or old. So,
yeah, I mean, they've been pretty vague about what the whole premise of Blue Beetle is going to be. If it's part of... I mean, they've announced it for... I don't know how long it's been. It's been a few years since they actually announced Blue Beetle.
And it's not Ted Kord. It's going to be the newer guy.
Reyes, yeah.
But Ted Kord, I think, is in it because I saw in the poster it said Kord Industries, so he's got to have some involvement. It's like the Ant-Man thing, Scott Lang instead of...
Yeah, so... At least in most of the modern interpretations, Ted Kord's long dead. Jaime Reyes sort of took over the mantle, and it's basically an entirely different character who just sort of took over the name. Just got the scarab infused to his back that gives him all this access to technology that is beyond human comprehension. And Ted Kord apparently is loosely connected because he found the scarab first in some interpretations and was trying to dissect it and figure out where this technology came from shortly before he was assassinated. I do really like the character of Jaime Reyes, and the actor playing him, whose name I can't pronounce, he's the main guy from Cobra Kai. I'm very anxious to see what he does with the role. I actually am excited for that project, even if we don't know anything about it at this point.
Yeah. Mike is back. Mike, what do you think about Blue Beetle?
We're talking about Blue Beetle?
Sort of.
Oh boy, that's that movie about the guy
with the beetle. That's blue.
With the beetle on his back. Also, Ronda Rousey is no longer champion. I'm the happiest man alive.
Good.
Ronda Rousey was never champion.
Wait, so...
Yeah, she was never champion. Loser.
So, Blue Beetle is going to set up the Beetleborgs, right?
Yeah, they're going to start a band called the Beatles, and they're going to...
The Beatles.
Destroy the Powerpuff Girls.
Right. That's going to be the next Avengers movie. It's going to be called The Beatles. Borgs. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. So, it brings us to a greater question on, what actually is going to be canon from the DC Extended Universe going into the DC Universe. Meaning, what from Snyder's original interpretation is going into James Gunn's version of DC. And I feel like any of these things could carry on just as part of the greater world without, really weighing too heavily on what the final impact's going to look like. With Aquaman, with Shazam, with any of these characters, they could all be well established, even if he doesn't try to tell any stories beyond what we've already seen. Leave it out there. Leave the established canon. Just build your own thing around it.
I don't know if you guys already touched on it, but there was an article earlier that I saw that James Gunn said that Blue Beetle will be the most important movie in the new DCU. And I was like, okay, is it because representation or because it's your first one?
It's not his first one, though. This is pre-James Gunn.
Exactly, it is. So why is it still
Yeah, I'm wondering if he took over some of the actual writing or some of the actual production work with it. That it might have his stamp of approval on it.
It's got to be a multiverse kind of film stuff he's going to start doing, right? Aquaman 2 is still canon after Flash. So, I mean...
For all we know, though, it could have chronologically taken place before the Flash. If they do want to do the whole universal reset or multiversal reset thing with the Flash, which who knows if they're even doing that at this point. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to stop Gunn from basically saying, "Oh, hey, all these films that came out after The Flash, guess what? They actually chronologically came before The Flash." You know?
Yeah, but like, would Warner Brothers do that? Because that's more confusing than having two Flashes.
It's fucking Warner Brothers. They don't care how confusing this shit is. You know, like this is not a company of smart people. Okay, like they will literally just do whatever and make it make sense after the fact. You know,
it's like I said with the meeting, right? They're all sitting around. They're like, okay, yes, James Gunn. Of course, you can tell your silly penis jokes, James Gunn. Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna make us money, right?
That's what it comes down to. Like, they fundamentally don't care about the final product as long as it's profitable.
To quote the new president, David Zaslav, directly himself, quoting something that's been quoted plenty of times. It's not called show friends, it's called show business. I don't know if that's what he sounds like.
It sounds basically like what someone who would say that would sound like.
Yeah. So they're just looking at numbers. They'd probably they just want to see how are you going to plan it out, like all the releases, and how's one going to lead into the other? How are you going to generate hype for the next product? Like, I get it.
And somehow Blue Beetle is that next product.
In a way, I think.
And wait, we're talking about animation, right? Sorry, I had to leave the room for a second.
In a way, I feel like the only reason James Gunn would have said that would be like now that everyone knows. It's so weird for them to have announced rebooting everything because now you have all these 4 movies in limbo. I was going to say maybe he just wants like Blue Beetle to do well, but what about the others that were directly connected to what's not being continued?
But is he?
Well, Aquaman 2 is still under fire.
What?
I was going to say Aquaman 2 is still on fire, and then it will like what?
Yeah, I don't know. If Gal Gadot's coming back, I don't know either. Maybe.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, look, as far as the whole, future of Wonder Woman, we know Patty Jenkins is no longer affiliated with DC. They essentially gave her the boot completely.
Good.
Which, after Wonder Woman 1984, I don't think anyone can blame DC's decision for that. But, yeah, I mean, Gal Gadot's still a fan favorite. Wonder Woman's still, very popular with the fan base. So,
sorry, I misquoted that. Right, wrong. James Gunn didn't fire Gal Gadot. That's right.
Yeah. As far as I know, she's still part of it, yeah.
It's implied that she quit.
Gal Gadot quit?
That's not good either.
Because of how he phrased it. He said we didn't can her, or whatever he said. Kind of sounds like she quit after Patty left.
Yeah, I mean... yeah, it's like, I know they were pretty tight just given the relationship they had with the first 2 films, but at the same time, it's like, why would she... Like, if there's no chance of Patty coming back, I feel like Gal wouldn't completely back away from the role, or she wouldn't completely burn that bridge if there was a chance of Wonder Woman coming back on the big screen. But when you consider how popular the character is, how critically well acclaimed the first movie was, it wouldn't really make sense for them to outright cancel the character.
Cancel?
Or reboot it.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have to go through... Well, if they don't retain anyone... Well, you know they will, because the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. But we'll have to go through, all new casting, all new, what's it called? Backlashes to new Batman, new Superman. Oh my goodness.
I truly feel he's going to do a multiverse kind of setup thing.
You know, I don't even think all the movies are going to come out next year. I think they'll either cancel a couple or just delay them again.
I don't think that Aquaman 2 movie is going to see the light of day unless Amber Heard is just cut completely from it.
Yeah.
From what I heard, they were completely erasing her from it, or at least minimizing her to the point that she's a blip.
It's bye.
They could have just reprinted.
Sorry.
That would have been easier, yeah.
So, speaking of tying up loose...
And Ezra Miller also bye.
Yes, exactly.
He's already gone.
Yeah,
his own movie gets rid of it.
I did just want to say they did announce earlier today that the first I think it's for the first time in 17 years Warner Brothers is actually going to be advertising during the Super Bowl, and they're going to be actually playing a new Flash trailer during that.
Oh, really?
So they're still trying to make this thing come out. They're still trying to make it successful, even though
Ezra we're going to be seeing Chainsaw Man commercials
in the country right now.
Well, listen, I want The Flash to be successful. I just don't want Ezra to be successful.
Agreed.
Who wants them to be?
I really want this movie to be good, okay?
So hold that thought.
Fucking a decade for this.
Hold that thought for 1 second. Speaking of tying up loose ends, Final part.
Pure evil. He's playing
Unnecessary evil.
Yeah. It captures you saying that. Anyway, so, is what James Gunn's doing a necessary evil? Let's look at the factors here. So, tonal consistency. Would Gunn's writing ever fit with Zack Snyder characters?
So,
I mean, maybe Suicide Squad, maybe just that one, but, that wasn't directly Snyder.
So,
if
I'm
even being honest,
if you're looking at Justice League, right? It was sort of lighter tone. It's like if they had wanted that all the way, Gunn's vision would fit in perfectly. But
we also have to consider that James Gunn isn't going to be writing each and every one of these movies.
True, he's really just overseeing.
He's just the president. He's just the co-president. He's not actually like.
Well, he is at least writing Superman.
It does seem like he's more hands-on with it than Feige is with Marvel. Like, it does seem like he's writing some of the scripts or having a more direct role in what's actually going to be on big screen.
That's because he's a fucking narcissistic asshole.
It's true, but it's also like DC's a very tainted brand right now on the big screen. They want someone in that role who's got this world-building power, who's got this ability to write. And, James Gunn makes sense from that perspective.
So is James Woods.
Oh, no.
So let's talk about all of the things that will be gotten rid of by just flipping the board and everything. The question of was Justice League or Zack Snyder's Justice League canon? Where's Cyborg? Is Darkseid coming back or what?
Is Titans canon?
Where's Luthor? Where's the Injustice League? What was anything happening in Wonder Woman 1984 and Magic and nobody remembering it, and that was a huge event that the entire world saw, and how could nobody remember it? Where was the Justice Society hiding the whole time? Huh? How does the Flashpoint affect anything? Where's Will Smith?
Don't think about it.
And then Ezra Miller and Amber Heard and all the drama with that, just all of these things just out of here.
Jesus Christ.
Start over. You don't got to deal with none of that shit. In that regard, I understand the decision. But only in that regard. Because, like I said before, any of the reasons against doing that would be refer back to when we talked about getting blue-balled for 10 years. It's like, now I don't care. Because it's been all of these years, over a decade of promising this and that, and no, you'll get to see it now, you just have to eat your meat, and then you can get the pudding. Well, I'm sick of eating your freaking meat! I want my damn pudding, and you know what? I'm gonna get it myself. I don't need you anymore. Screw you, WB.
Yeah.
Speaking of screwing in WB, I was just watching Chainsaw Man, and ain't no way Denji's fucking Miss Makima.
Yeah, Denji.
No, I've heard like all
that. Denji's getting fucked.
So
other aspect, but not that one.
I don't think you guys have watched Chainsaw Man, but me and I got Jack to watch it, and I told him that somewhere during this podcast.
Yeah, you told me it was a hentai quest. You weren't lying. Fuck you.
I said we were going to mention it because it's one of the successful animes that came out this year, right behind Bleach's revival. But
yeah, that too. What's funny is one of my favorite YouTubers is actually saying Chainsaw Man is Bleach with personality.
John just looks so angry.
Yeah.
I had to talk about anime for at least 5 seconds. Screw you.
No, I'm still thinking about the other thing.
So you wanted to also touch upon some of the lingering threads and timelines. What's canon in JL or ZSJL? Where's Cyborg? Is Darkseid coming back? Everything's from Black Adam.
Yeah. Well, here's the reality. Nothing's coming back because they turned away. What's his name? Cyborg actor Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher.
So he had a falling out with them publicly.
Really?
He ain't coming back. Yeah.
I will say
they could get the Doom Patrol guy. No.
I thought it was good.
I will say I did see this. I went to a screening of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was part of a charity competition. I donated money to this suicide prevention thing that Snyder was part of, and won tickets to see this thing in New York. Ray Fisher was actually So Ray Fisher was actually at the screening and was meeting with fans after the fact, and basically talking at the end of the thing, saying how happy he was that everyone was there. seems like a really sweet, really genuine guy in person. And like he clearly still has a very good relationship with Zack Snyder. So I think if like Snyder ever was brought back into DC, which obviously seems very unlikely at this point.
Well, he's gonna be in, if it didn't come out already, Snyder's sci-fi Netflix movie Moon something or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I mean, they still clearly have a good relationship.
Well, and with all this controversy, we can also push to the side, and Ray Fisher can just go with it too.
Yeah, I mean, the point I was trying to make is Fisher clearly still loves the character, loves the fan base. Yeah. If it wasn't for the fact that DC's former guard, with Hamada specifically, wasn't good, just the most toxic environment possible, like he'd probably really still be
that great of a cyborg.
No, he was fine. I mean, I do think he's better in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I do like what they did with the character, but it's obviously a far cry from like the Titans version of Cyborg, you know?
No, if I'm being honest, I was gonna say, and if I'm being honest, I like Cyborg more as a part of his Young Justice or the Teen Titans more than the Justice League. I always thought it was more out of place from there, but
yeah,
that's just me. Me, but I think their own. You are allowed to like your interpretation of the character. I don't give a shit. I like what I like. So
I definitely prefer normal cyborg. I was just gonna say I definitely prefer a normal cyborg to Apocalypse Mother Box infused cyborg.
Yeah, like all right, come on, you're making him a god character at that rate.
Like, yeah, he's the god of computers. That's it.
Like, yeah, the Titan version of him and the Justice League version of him, they're just both bad. Compared to like the characterization of Cyborg that we know from Titans, Young Justice. I mean, yeah, it's all animated, but it just
like, he's a football player that just became a cyborg. Like, give the kid 5 minutes to literally compute what the hell just happened to him.
Give me a piece of action first that's not garbage, and then figure out how Cyborg should be done.
Well, you know,
so give me a good live action Beast Boy finally, for the love of God.
You know who started the whole Cyborg in the Justice League thing? Smallville.
Oh, of course you did.
Smallville. No. There was an episode because they had, you know, over the course of the seasons, they had like they had a young
just wearing a guy wearing a gray sweatshirt.
Yeah, they had a young Flash type character. We don't really know who his name is. Maybe Bart.
It was
Green Arrow,
Aquaman,
and Cyborg. And then there was an episode called like Ultimate Justice or something like that,
where they Oliver.
Yeah, they all showed up, and they were doing something. I don't know. It's been so many years since I've seen it.
No, Oliver Queen was there for that episode.
Yeah.
Ollie Queen, yay.
Played by Justin Hartley, who also played Aquaman in the unaired Aquaman pilot TV movie.
Oh, don't bring up guys playing this two different superhero characters. That makes people really mad recently. Didn't you hear about how people wanted the guy that played Aquaman recently? I think his name was Jason something. People got mad that people were going like, oh wait, he can't play Lobo. Meanwhile, Chris Evans, Human Torch, and Captain America.
That was one thing we didn't have on John's notes, but yeah, Jason Momoa as Lobo is actually a perfect casting choice. I don't know why no one thought about
money. Take my money. I'd watch that in a second.
Like, you know, I will say there's no reason why he can't simultaneously be Aquaman and
I don't think Lobo's that big of a character.
He's not
that big of a character to begin with, and it'd be fun. Yeah. Get over it.
I will say, but he is the perfect casting choice for Lobo. Like, he has that energy down. Get a little bit of makeup on him. He's fucking Lobo, okay?
I used to say The Rock would have been better as Lobo, so...
He'd be happy.
I do still think Dwayne Johnson makes a good Black Adam, even if he doesn't do the accent in the slightest.
Oh, that's what annoyed me. Yeah, that too.
And he better say, you fragging bastard.
Oh, that reminds me, we didn't do a Black Adam podcast or anything.
Good.
But,
fuck it.
Black Adam is too black for us.
There's not a lot of depth to discuss, but it's a fun movie. He's good. It's just Dwayne Johnson doing his thing.
Whatever.
It's good. Whatever.
So, lastly, in conclusion, is DC a bust? Are we just done?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have asked the same question.
Is DC a first overall draft pick like Baker Mayfield?
We've been asking this question for the past decade, and the thing is, there's still a loyal enough fan base that people are still seeing these movies. I mean, basically since... I don't know, maybe since Suicide Squad, like we've been questioning what's going on here. Even
I say we give it a chance.
The theatrical cut was so divisive to so much of the audience.
I mean, I would agree with the original, like the decade thing, because back when the Flash was on and they Well, Arrow and Flash, they kept cutting characters for the for the movies. That back then, even it was like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's some questionable choices. But the point is, they keep churning out these movies, they keep churning out these TV series, they keep churning out these games, and there's enough of a loyal fan base to keep it profitable. Like, there's enough people seeing these things that you haven't really had a massive box office bomb yet, right?
Well, it depends on what you consider to be a bomb.
Suicide Squad, I mean, they both were released during the pandemic. I wouldn't really count those, but the point is, there's enough of an audience there that they're just going to keep churning out things until it's completely financially.
This was so weird, right? Like, James Gunn did one movie for them. He did The Suicide Squad, which didn't make a lot because, pandemic, and then all of a sudden, he gets the keys to the company.
See, streaming,
it's more of like a proof of concept than an actual box office success, right? Like, it shows that he has some vision for this universe beyond just what he did with Guardians.
I have a defense for James Gunn in one thing.
Sure.
He directed Brightburn.
He produced Brightburn. He did not.
Whatever.
So Man of Steel too.
Brother, whatever. The Guns wrote it.
It was Sean Gunn and I think one of his brothers or one of his cousins or something. Yeah.
Like, it's a really good adaptation that doesn't have to be in your face like, this is Superman, this is DC. But it's really good. And if he did stuff like that on the side, like if he mixed it up besides dick jokes, he could probably be.
Oh, no, I think even outside of his usual sense of humor, the guy's got a really good creative mind. Like, he's a very talented writer. He understands character development. And that's the point I was making earlier. Like, if you want someone in the role of president of DC Films who's going to be more directly involved with world building, Gunn makes a lot of sense from that perspective.
And I can even add to the point with how he made Peacemaker recently. Like, who the heck knew who Peacemaker was before The Suicide Squad? And before that series was out, he's a D-list villain in the entire DC universe, and he was able to bring him up going like, here's this guy that was raised by a mercenary or raised by a soldier, taught to kill from the day he's born. Oh, wait, here he has all this mental trauma as well, and actually, building up the character to go, okay, he could be interesting. Let's learn more about this guy, who absolutely no one gives a crap about in the actual DC main superhero 6, being the Justice League founders and all that. You know what I mean?
Hey, Polka Dot Man.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, best character of the Suicide Squad.
He's the best character. He is the GOAT.
Yeah.
You mean how Spider-Verse is doing the Spot or whatever his name is?
The Spot. I remember that episode of Spider-Man, the animated series. He used these teleporting interdimensional spots. And fun fact, that's one of the only times in the series where you see a closed fist hit somebody because of how extreme the sensors were on the violence. Spider-Man couldn't punch anybody. He had to just kick or swing into them. So because he punched through a portal, that was the one time they could show him punching somebody.
How's a kick
so
less violent than a punch?
Because it's a closed fist, you can't close a foot, so it's somehow less violent.
Right.
Kicks are just as violent.
No
as
one wants to see that.
It's like that old Jerry Seinfeld routine. He gave me the finger, right? I'd be more insulted if he gave me the toe. That takes a lot more effort.
Yeah, it does. I'd be like, okay, how do you do that?
Yeah, so at this point, the only thing I plan on watching, because I don't even know if I want to see Shazam, or I did want to. Now, I don't know, maybe just wait for streaming, right? Because these aren't really events anymore, they're non-events.
The thing is, I like everything that's on the slate for 2023.
Because we've been looking forward to it for so many years.
I still think it's one of the best solo films from DC to this point. Blue Beetle, I'm really anxious to see what they do with the character. I love Cobra Kai, so I'm anxious to see what that actor does in that role. The Flash, it's been fucking over a decade since they announced this thing.
If Grant Gustin
Ezra Miller deserves to rot in prison,
get
but
rid
that
of
movie,
everything else.
fans should be able to enjoy that movie,
Well, I could set it aside, because whatever he has going on, I don't really give a shit. It's a movie, it's a comic book.
So the thing is, you always have to separate the art from the artist, right?
Yeah.
That's what gets really hard.
I am able to do that, at least. I can go.
We can do that until they start saying they're a Nazi, right?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I didn't listen to Kanye West to begin with, so it doesn't really apply to me. But
Paris, I'll let you finish.
Yeah,
I'll let you finish.
Did you guys know they're doing a Ruby Justice League crossover?
A what?
What?
The Ruby anime series is going to cross over with Justice
I was
League.
Like, what are you talking about?
Is that anime?
Yeah, Ruby is spelled with a W instead of a U.
Oh, so
I'm looking at the animated movies coming out next year because nobody wanted to tell me if there was animated movies.
Wait, so it's that
shoot,
specifically is an anime crossover, right?
We were only allowed to talk about Chainsaw Man for 5 seconds because obviously everything about Chainsaw Man. So,
and then the Batman, the Doom that came to Gotham.
Oh,
okay.
I'm listening.
And Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, I know about that one. Yeah, well, that's in the
War World.
I'm pretty sure those are all in what's called the Tomorrowverse now, because those are all stemming from after they did Justice League Dark War, Dark Apocalypse War, whatever it was.
Yeah.
They reset the continuity, and then a new one started with Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
And then it was the Flash. Well, no, not the Flash. What was it? It's the Legion. It was the Justice Society, World War II or whatever.
JSA.
Was that a part of it?
Yeah, it starts with the Flash, with Superman in the Tomorrowverse, and then he flies to Earth 2.
Oh yeah. That kind of sounds familiar. I haven't kept up with the animated movies in a while.
So I think we need more
only 2 of these movies will be in the Tomorrowverse. The Doom that came to Gotham will be a standalone feature, and then the Ruby one will be a standalone because, of course, it's garbage.
Yes, I was gonna say, is that anime? Oh yeah, I'll let you finish, but I don't care.
So, if DC Films just was at this point, I would say it's still going, still chugging along, it's still trying.
I'm gonna say right now the only thing I know for sure that I will watch is Joker 2.
Yes, Folie à Deux.
You want a musical?
I don't think that's even part of the DCEU.
I gotta wait for a trailer.
Absolutely watch that.
And that's the other point we should have made. Batman 2 is also still happening. It seems to be separate from the DC Extended Universe or DC Universe. It seems to be an Elseworlds thing. Same deal with Joker 2.
I'm glad you mentioned it, CJ.
Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we did our review of it, I defended it. And you know what came to my mind the other day? When they composed the score for it. I know John had complaints about it. Yeah. I think you had complaints about it. It's the fucking
Star Wars theme, dude.
Yeah, it's so lazy.
It's the Star Wars theme minus one note.
No. Listen, the guy came to him and was like, "Hey, I have a preview of this theme for you." And he was like, "Okay, let me hear it." And he's heard 10 seconds of it. He's like, "Okay, good. Loop that shit for an hour and then just keep that's what I want you to play." And that's all I hear now. It makes me so irrationally angry.
Remember Danny Elfman? Remember even Hans Zimmer?
Yeah,
remember Shirley Walker?
I remember themes of Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 all being used in No Way Home and in what's it called? Stephen Strange. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
But they weren't looped.
Yeah,
they weren't looped. No,
that's what he's saying. He's saying he remembers them.
And I'm like, conspiracy.
The fact that they're memorable is a point in their favor. The Batman theme, I can't even remember it. All I know is that it's just cheap sounding.
It's just Batman. It's just one of the other Batmans slowed down.
Yeah.
Here's what I remember from the Batman. That cool, where he's got the what's it called?
You know what it is?
The flare in his hand. He's using that to beat the crap out of the guys in the sewer. And when the people whose muffler shots are literally lighting up the actual scene where he's beating the crap out of him as he's getting shot repeatedly. Those are absolutely beautiful scenes.
When he smashed his face off the bridge.
I will defend that till I die.
But with the song, and not to get into that, but anyway, since you brought it up, it was the writer Matt Reeves. He was just listening to Something in the Way by, that's Nirvana, right?
Correct.
All right.
Last track.
Make sure I don't piss off any metal fans. So he was listening to that song on loop while he was writing the film, and I think he just wanted that part, that dun 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 dun. He wanted that looped, so that's where
everybody wants that feeling.
The March thing came in. But yeah, it sucks. And I don't really care about the Batman 2. Are you going to watch the Penguin series?
I'll watch that. The point I was making before by bringing up the Batman Part 2 and Joker Folie à Deux is that
whatever.
They both sort of exist in a vacuum outside of James Gunn's sort of reach for the DC universe. They're both Elseworld stories, and it seems like they're willing to at least invest in these Elseworld stories on the big screen, right? So, to the earlier point you made about only really being interested in earlier individual properties, like the current slate of films not really doing much for you from a world.
Yeah, because it's like how I feel about Marvel now. It's like, whereas Marvel actually got to the build-up, they gave us the pudding. The pudding was good. I ate it. I was satisfied. I don't need any more. Now DC's just like, no. And now it's just like...
Yeah, because we only had Henry Cavill's Superman, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, and Zach Levy's Shazam, all right there. And we're just like, cut blocked.
But,
just like John Cena.
I also said that I had absolutely zero interest in yet another Batman reboot, and then the trailer came out, and I go, oh, well, that was interesting. I might see it.
It's like that fisherman from the commercial goes like, I got it quicker than that.
So point is,
wait for a trailer, and then I'll see then.
I mean, it speaks to how they should be investing in individual creators, too. Like, Todd Phillips and Matt Reeves both clearly had, clear visions for both of these properties. I don't know if those could have existed inside the DC Extended Universe, just given how it was set up. But it leads to the point that, there's a lot of properties under the DC umbrella that could make good standalone features, right? Like, you shouldn't pigeonhole yourself by making them part of this greater universe.
I think that's going to be the game plan going forward. I think they're going to do a lot more Elseworlds than one interconnected continuity, and then, like I said in the one chat, like, they're just going to bring them together for a crisis kind of event.
Sure.
Well, that's fine. I mean, especially with Green Lantern, that has a whole network of things going on. So, like, to have that interconnected...
If we get there.
Yeah, if we get there. Well, there was supposed to be first, like, a movie or something, and then an HBO Max show. And the HBO Max show was going to have Alan Scott and who else? Guy Gardner?
I just realized I was muted.
And now it's going to have...
Apparently, that's still going forward?
Yeah, but with Jon Stewart, maybe, and Hal Jordan, maybe.
Content. Give me that right now.
Jon Stewart's still not in it.
I watched Jon Stewart.
Well, nobody's in it yet because it hasn't been.
Or at least Guy. Anybody but Hal, please.
No, because they had the guy that plays Diggle. What's his name? Ramsey.
Diggle, yeah.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
No, I thought he would have been good.
No, they had him speaking on it, and he was talking about, like, the HBO Max show. They're going to focus on a bunch of other Green Lanterns, but his show, the Arrowverse U, whatever
Justice
show, it's still moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently that's still going, and so is the Green Lantern show. But he mentioned that Jon Stewart's not going to be in the Green Lantern show. Apparently that's being saved for a movie. Which, I mean,
I don't care anymore.
We'll see.
Oh, whatever.
I'll be stoked if he's involved, honestly.
I'll just say, wait for the trailers, see how it looks. So then I can say, I've seen how it looks, I don't care.
And also, John, I've seen how it looks, I don't like it.
Exactly. I don't like it. I'm not looking at it.
I don't like it, therefore it doesn't exist, and whatever CJ and Jack say is irrelevant.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So with all that being said, I think you queued up a
perfectly
pretty nice pre-developed outro for us. So I guess I'll say those words. It's been a good year, guys. It's our last podcast.
It's been a tough year.
Going to do a lot more in 2023. Keep an eye out for episode 100 coming soon.
What do you want us to do for episode 100?
Drew back.
We're open to suggestions.
I was thinking we got a guest on, but I have no idea who, so no promises there.
Oh, Henry Cavill.
We do have
Henry Cavill. We'll get Henry Cavill, and he can vent with us.
It's going to be me with an even shittier mustache doing a voice.
Do you have a mustache?
Well, that'll be...
Screw you.
Maybe come the new year. Check out the YouTube. some commentary videos, perhaps, for some films, because
ton more content.
There's a series called Jack's
Eric.
First Time, because he still hasn't seen so many things.
We're still workshopping the title.
Yeah, we're still working on that. I still haven't seen anything Star Trek related, so I mean...
yeah.
I will be there to guide you.
I'm sort of in that boat, too.
To infinity.
Okay, so with all that being said, all of our links can be found on utterlynonsense.com. If you're watching this live on YouTube or Twitch, first of all, thanks for joining us. Thanks for actually watching.
Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. All of our links should be in the description below, utterlynonsense.com. You can find all of our podcast links, all of our previous episodes, all of our social media, etc., etc. If you're a longtime listener, you've heard this all before, but I have to say the spiel anyway.
And you heard it too much.
Happy New Year.
John, cue that 8-bit outro, whatever.
Bye. Happy New Year's, everybody. We love you. Thank you.